Okay. Good morning to Facebook. You have joined us in the middle of our church service, a metaphysical church service. Facebook. You joined us. Can you mute the TV for a second? Metaphysical church service. Facebook. Church service. Facebook. See if that. Did that do it? Technical. We are at ISD Oneonta. Oneonta, New York, one of 5 chapters nationwide, and the Institute for Spiritual Development. And we are just about to welcome Reverend Maggie Kilbride, who is here to lead this morning's homily. So I'll turn it over to you. Oh, after or first? First? I had it as after. Is that okay?
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, after.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. After this homily, I'm going to have a song played, mainly because it's not in a language that we're familiar with, and well, some are, I guess, but just so that you understand that music has a language of its own, and whether or not you can understand the words, the feeling can still come over you and envelop you of love and of beauty and richness. Okay, what we see and how we see it is definitely open to interpretation. I listened to a yogi tell the story of a man who had a dog. He took the dog to a pond in the park. He was playing around with the dog, and all of a sudden he thought he'd play fetch with it. So he took a ball and he threw the ball into a pond, and the dog just looked at it, and he walked across the water and grabbed the ball and walked back and dropped the ball in front of the man. The man couldn't believe it, so he did it again, and he took the ball and he threw it even further. And the dog looked to see where it landed, and it walked across the water again, got the ball, and walked back again. Well, the man was absolutely flabbergasted, so he brought a friend of his to experience this. And he said, "You have got to see this." And he takes the ball and he throws it down into the pond, and the dog walks across the water, grabs the ball, and brings it back to him. And he said, "Did you see that?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, No, you're not seeing it, obviously." And he takes the ball and he throws it again. And the dog goes and walks across the water and brings it back to him. And he said to the man, Don't you understand what's happening?" And he said, "Yeah, your dog doesn't know how to swim." So we want the miracles packaged. What was miraculous to the man, his dog can't swim, his friend didn't see. If we not packaged our miracles the way we want, we have definitely seeing and accepting miracles. There's a difficulty in seeing them and accepting them. In truth, miracles are all around and inside of us, waking and opening our eyes, hearing crickets and birds, tasting the cup of water, all miraculous. But we are seeing and knowing. Mindfulness is a noun. It's a focusing of one's awareness on the present moment. A mental state achieved by focusing one's awareness on the present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations. To meditate, on the other hand, is a verb, not a noun. And it says to think deeply or focus one's mind for a period of time in silence or with the aid of chanting for spiritual purpose or relaxation. Nouns answer the question what, verbs answer the question how. So we meditate to achieve mindfulness. In relating the dog walking on water story with my significant other, he told me a story of his that I found fascinating. Gordy liked to go fishing by himself, just him, the boat, and the lake. He thinks about things going on in his present or his past. If he hooks a fish, he releases it and throws it back. In releasing the fish, he also releases any thoughts that were bothersome to him, and they swim away with the fish. I believe the boat and lake become a sacred space for him. In writing these stories, I feel the importance of the spoken word. I write these stories down so I can relate them to you as a food to promote mindful thinking. Before writing, there were bards or storytellers that brought thoughts through words for our own consumption. Still today, in various cultures, it is the spoken word, sometimes passed down for countless generations verbatim, that convey what our lives and thoughts should follow. Words put to music make memory easier. Tom Lehrer, who was a comedian back in the 60s, put the elements, the table of elements, to Gilbert and Sullivan tune called the Major General, and it's I am the very model of a modern Major General, and the entire period of elements was the periodic table was easy to memorize at that point, and it must have helped thousands of students in memorizing it. In India, sacred chanting can go on for days. Repetition of tune and words help the person to go into a meditative state. Now we have cell phones and internet to teach and keep in touch. We form friends and groups, but to me, they lack the cohesive nature that comes when we come together physically as a group or even one-on-one. We keep the dialogue flowing even though we are thousands of miles away. We can and often do sit right next to each other, communicating through electronic methods. Is the food for thought mindful in these communications, or just some parody seen on Twitter or YouTube? Is the wisdom of the ages lost? The knowledge we had of expressing to one another through speech become a bygone era? Proper sentence structure and spelling have become destructed. FGA, forget about it. FGAI. I ask the question, have modern forms of truncated communication inhibited our retention of meaningful thought? High Mass in the Catholic Church was completely sung by both priest and congregants. When words are spoken, they can become unclear, but sung words carry, sung words carry and have a clarity, making the message being given much more emphasis. Chanting in ancient times was discovered to be conducive to prayer, and prayer is mindfulness. A song in a second language enhances the learning of the target language. Today, the use of song and music offer a more natural and holistic way of learning language. Language is the meat of what you say, how you put words together to make sentence or ideas. Speech is how you say sounds using pitch, rhythm, and pauses. Speech is how you use your voice. A lisp or a stutter is a speech, a form of speech. Singing is basically speaking or speech with varying pitches and rhythms, and it is extremely important in our daily life. Singing increases empathy and understanding between cultures. Music can help us feel connected to all of humanity. Singing songs that originate in other cultures can give us a new appreciation for those cultures and help us empathize with others. Research has shown that singing can be good for you on many levels. It may lower stress, boost immunity and lung function, increase pain threshold. In 1965, the Vatican Council opined that 7 periods of prayer and singing in many monasteries was no longer necessary. So monks and nuns alike stopped. Within months, the monks and nuns started showing signs of weakness in their lungs. In the mainly unheated monasteries and convents, they needed the exercise of singing to keep them healthy. Plus, there was a joy or a pleasure missing in not coming together in song. The 7 fixed prayer times were restored. It seems singing ties the words into your thought patterns. In making prayer and spiritual practice more modern and less complex or time-consuming, we have lost the system of contemplation and song as an important articles of our spiritual life. Paying attention to being present and praying through song might be all we need to have a fulfilling life. Perhaps we need to repackage or unpack the miracles we expect and open ourselves to the miracles around us, to see with our hearts as well as our minds and eyes. If we have to throw back a fish or two, send them off with a song, any song, as long as it's felt from the heart. Create a sacred space wherever you are. Dorothy Parker said, "You can't teach an old dogma new tricks." I'm not really thinking that I believe what she said. I'm still learning, singing, and unpacking. Come join me. Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. Great. And we will say goodbye to Facebook. Please come visit us at ISD Oneonta.org and come join us if you see what we're all about. See our calendar of events. See you next time we go live. Bye.